Hey, you. Ever get that feeling the trucking world is hitting the fast forward button?
Huh, yeah. Feels that way sometime.
Because buckle up, it really is. Today, we're diving headfirst into a whole pile of changes shaking things
A
up.
real mix, too.
Yeah, we're talking electric long haulers making noise, and short haul freight suddenly being the popular kid.
Right.
Then there's more drivers joining us from all over the globe, a company with decades under its belt, calling it a day.
That was a big one.
A brand spanking new highway opening up, and even like trucks trying to hold hands down the interstate with platooning.
It's a lot to unpack.
It's a whirlwind, right?
Yeah.
So our goal today is pretty simple. Sift through all this, grab the info that'll actually matter to you, the drivers out there,
Yeah, the folks behind the wheel.
and see how these shifts could play out in your day-to-day, your career. Like a Hervey from life, as a trucker says, we got to look at all sides.
Definitely. You can't just see one piece of it. So where do we start?
Let's jump in with that freight shift. Short haul.
Okay, yeah. The boom in short haul. It's interesting because it's not random. It connects to bigger trends, like more intermodal transport.
You mean like truck to train to ship, that kind of thing?
Exactly. And companies decentralizing warehouses, putting them more regionally.
Okay, so what does that mean for a driver?
Well, it could mean more runs closer to home, potentially more home time, which is a big deal for many.
That's definitely a plus.
But it also changes the job itself, right?
Yeah.
More stops, probably. More loading, unloading. Less straight highway miles, maybe.
And the pay structure could change too.
Yeah, you might see more hourly work or per load rates becoming more common instead of just pure mileage pay.
So it's not all sunshine and roses. If you like long haul, this might feel limiting.
Could be. And equipment needs might shift too. Day cabs versus sleepers, things like that.
Right. And speaking of making things smoother, maybe for regional stuff, that new Highway 20 bypass in Oklahoma.
Ah, yeah, the Kilpatrick Turnpike extension connection there near Claremore.
Exactly. 5 miles. Sounds small, but if you run that area.
Well, it could be significant. Skipping downtown congestion, fewer lights. That saves time. Real time on the clock.
That's a tangible difference. But you also got to think, what about the businesses on the old route? The diners, fuel stops.
That's the other side of the coin. Always.
Yeah.
Infrastructure changes always have knock-on effects.
Yeah.
Good for some, maybe not so good for others, right along that old stretch.
It's like a domino effect, isn't it?
Precisely. And that leads kind of naturally into the tech side. Big changes there, too, like the Windrose zero-emission long hauler.
Okay, the electric semi, I saw that. Looks futuristic.
It does. It's got the sleeper cab, targeting the Southwest U.S. initially. But, the immediate reaction from drivers is probably skepticism.
Yeah, I mean, first questions, how far does it really go? What's the range?
Exactly. And how long does it take to charge? The article mentioned, 1 to 3 hours? Compared 10 minutes for diesel?
Woof, that's a huge difference in your day.
It is. And the cost, obviously. These are like six-figure pieces of technology.
Yeah.
Right now, they're often leaning heavily on grants, partnerships.
So not something you're just going to buy on your own tomorrow.
Probably not tomorrow, no. But here's the thing. Places like California, they're already pushing mandates for zero-emission vehicles.
Right, the regulations are coming.
And big shippers, your customers, they want to show they're environmentally conscious. They're demanding greener transport options.
So even if this truck isn't the final answer, the pressure is building.
It shows the direction things are heading. And hey, maybe it opens up new kinds of jobs eventually maintaining these things. The charging infrastructure, EO charging is planning a big network apparently.
Food for thought. Okay, what about the other tech thing? Platooning. Trucks driving super close together.
Yeah, truck platooning. They're testing it on I-70. Basically, trucks linked electronically, vehicle-to-vehicle communication, V2V. They brake and accelerate together, digitally synced.
Okay. Why? What's the goal there?
Well, the industry hopes for fuel savings, mainly. The trucks drafting behind use less energy. And long-term, some think it could potentially reduce the need for as many drivers per load, maybe.
Ah, there's the rub. I can see why drivers would be concerned.
Very valid concerns. What if the signal drops? What about bad weather, snow, heavy rain? How does it handle other cars cutting in and out?
Yeah, mixing with regular traffic sounds tricky. And the job security question is obviously huge.
Absolutely. It feels like a lot of these technologies, they promise efficiency, but the driver's immediate thought is, how does this affect me? My safety, my job.
It really comes back to needing to adapt, doesn't it? Not necessarily embracing it blindly, but understanding what it is, what the potential impacts are.
Exactly. Staying informed rather than just fearing the unknown.
Yeah.
which kind of brings us to the people side of things.
Right, the human element, like the piece about the growing number of foreign-born drivers.
Yeah, that's a really important dynamic. The fact is, there's been a driver shortage for years, on and off. And these individuals, immigrants, are stepping up, filling critical roles.
You definitely see it out there.
And the article points out they often have a really strong work ethic, willing to take different kinds of routes, different schedules, maybe ones others pass on.
But it also mentioned potential friction points, right?
Yeah.
Concerns sometimes about pay undercutting or communication.
It did acknowledge that, but it also stressed something crucial.
Mm.
The underlying problems, things like low pay for the work involved, long hours away from home, tough conditions, those affect all drivers.
Doesn't matter where you were born.
Exactly. The core issues are industry-wide.
Mm-hmm.
So rather than division, the focus should really be on improving conditions for everyone. They're essential, keeping freight moving just like everyone else.
Yeah, we're all out there doing the same tough job, ultimately.
And then kind of the flip side of the workforce stability, that Davis Express story, closing down after 44 years.
Oof, that one hits hard. 44 years is a long time. Why'd they shut down?
Well, the owner was retiring. Apparently, no clear succession plan in place. But also, the usual suspects. Rising costs, fuel, insurance, maintenance, while freight rates haven't kept pace. Plus, just the constant struggle to find and keep good drivers.
Sounds like a perfect storm.
It really does. And the article emphasized this isn't just a one-off. It's kind of a warning sign, especially for those mid-sized fleets caught in the middle.
Man, that's a real wake-up call. It shows you, as a driver, you can't just assume the company you're with today will be there tomorrow, no matter how long they've been around. Loyalty's great, but
But things can change fast.
yeah.
You can be the best driver they have, and external factors shut the whole thing down.
Which really underscores the need for, what, an exit strategy, having something else.
Exactly. And that ties back perfectly to what you mentioned, Hervey, from Life. As a trucker talks about managing your time, not just for the dispatcher or the shipper.
Or for yourself.
For yourself.
Live.
Using that off-duty time, whether it's downtime on the road or home time, especially if short haul does increase home time, to invest in yourself, learn new skills.
Okay, like what kind of skills?
Could be anything, really. But think about things you can do remotely or online. That's where some of these resources come in, like retirefromtrucking.com.
Yeah, I saw they mentioned that. What do they focus on?
They talk specifically about building online income streams, using tools, even things like AI, apparently, to create a side hustle, a backup plan.
Building a shield, kind of? Protection against industry ups and downs.
Precisely. It's about having options, building some financial independence so you're not 100% reliant on that next dispatch. It gives you more control over your future, your retirement.
So it's not just about surviving the changes, but maybe even finding ways to thrive because of them or despite them, taking control.
That's the key message, I think, weaving through all these different stories. Change is happening in freight types, in technology, in who's
Right.
driving, in company stability.
You can't stop it.
You can't stop it. So the focus shifts to how do you, the driver, navigate it? How do you prepare? How do you adapt?
Seeing the big picture, like Hervey says, all the angles, and then figuring out your move.
Yeah. Being aware, being proactive. It's crucial for, not just your career longevity, but your overall well-being, too.
It really is about feeling empowered, isn't it? Not just being swept along by whatever the industry throws at you next.
Absolutely. Taking charge of what you can control.
So wrapping this up then, when you look at the electric trucks, the platooning, the shift to shorter hauls, the workforce changes, even the sad news about Davis Express, it all points to a time of major transition.
Definitely interconnected. And the call to action, really, is for drivers to think strategically about their own path forward.
So maybe the final thought for everyone listening,
Yeah.
with all these shifts happening right now, what's one proactive step you are going to take, maybe even this week, to invest in your own future?
Good question. Is it learning something new, looking into different kinds of freight, or maybe actually checking out how to build one of those online income streams?
Something to think about on that next long stretch of road. Couldn't
Yeah.
put it better. Well, listen, to all the hardworking men and women out there keeping this country moving seriously, thank you. Your dedication doesn't go unnoticed.
Absolutely. Keep the wheels turning safely.
We hope this deep dive gave you some valuable stuff to chew on as you navigate the road ahead.